All right. Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons show! After our players introduce themselves, I will do a quick round of announcements and a brief recap, and then we'll dive right into playing. But first, those character introductions I mentioned. Nick, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm Nick. I play Sir Thaddeus Hammerlock, the Human Vengeance Paladin.
I'm Kay. I play Harmony, who is the Tiefling Wild Magic Sorcerer.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I play Zant, who is a Human Fighter Ranger.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I play Mara, who is a Human Rogue Swashbuckler.
Swashbuckler. So those announcements. We premiere our episodes on YouTube every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. My players like to laugh at me when I do introductions. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items as well as a custom wild magic table, so be aware of that as you're watching. My players assure me they're not laughing at me, but actually they are. Our character portraits, which are on the info cards, which you'll see on the screen, were drawn by an artist named Carrie Peach, who goes by @CarrieDraws on Twitter. If you need a refresher for anything going on in this campaign or just want to explore the world that these players get to play in every week, you can check out our Wikipedia for our campaign on World Anvil. Other than that, you can check the video description for links and information to everything I just mentioned and more, including some links to some Black Lives Matter resources. And finally, you can follow us on Twitter @AntiheroesAnon. And we do hope you enjoy the show, share it with your friends, and come back and watch some more. So, that recap. The anti-heroes are in the middle of an epic quest down into the depths of the Nine Hells, where they hope to face off against an old foe, a night hag known as Mother Midnight or Malagard, in her lair on Malbolg, the 6th layer of the Nine Hells. In addition to Malagard's forces, they now find themselves also confronted by the armies of Beelzebul and Mephistopheles, the archdukes of the 2 layers below Malbolg. Their friendly former archdevil, Moloch, has some plans to turn the tides in the party's favor, and so far to that end, they've enlisted the help of Ruin, the Archduke of Stygia, and also freed a captured Yugoloth spy. Their current mission, which we left about maybe 3/4 of the way through, was to eliminate a hag coven who had been protected by a powerful barrier, which they had to deactivate a series of magical sigils in order to penetrate. And now the party is posed to strike at those hags, one of whom turns out to be a familiar face to the group. So, to remind you all of the scene, you find yourselves clustered together for the most part, with the exception of Harmony, around Thaddeus and his golden-furred Hollyphant companion Lulu, protected by magical auras of Esanahen's protection that ward against the slobbering, teeth-gnashing, frog-like creatures, the Slotty, that just are chomping at the bit to get towards you, but unable to do so because of Thaddeus's aura. On top of Lulu's back, there is a little clan of monkeys that has taken up residence there and are throwing rocks or poop or just various things that they can at the Slotty. Standing opposed to you, now revealed in the center of this battlefield, in a bit of a depression or crater in the fleshy ground that makes up this plain, is a group of 4 hags, 3 of them clearly night hags, recognizable by their sort of dark purplish skin and their curling horns. But the 4th one, a different type of hag, it would seem. You recognized her as the hag who was formerly the child Ronin, with her sort of barky, tree-like skin. I have a good description of her somewhere. Where did it go? Here we go. Ashy white bark-like skin, her hair a messy nest of green locks, her eyes blood red, like some sort of poisonous berry, And then she wears a pair of earrings made of wicker that are shaped like unicorns, which you can see dangling from her long, kind of like wrinkled crone-like ears. And she's wearing this set of robes as dark as night. We left off right after the group of you burst the bubble and revealed this group of hags. And we're going to drop right back into that moment. So, what would you like to do? We're at the top of a round of initiative. Zant, you have the first action.
Okay. I think I will take some shots at probably the one that Harmony threw the poison ball at.
Okay. The one currently to the furthest south there, closest to Harmony.
Yeah. From atop Lulu. Yeah, let's do that. So that is, let's see, that's not that great. So 21 to hit?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's just see how this one does. The old test shot. And these are fiends.
They are, in fact, fiends because they're night hags
Excellent.
and not your typical hag.
Excellent. Then this one will do 32 non-magic piercing damage.
Okay. You do see a little bit of extra resistance there, which you've come to expect from the sort of fiendish creatures that you fight.
Okay. So they took half damage, so I will do some magic stuff then. That's a crit. So I will put some sauce on this one. I will do the bowstring. And what do we get? Roll the dice. That's a 4. That's when I get a lot, I think. Slow, dex save.
Okay. You know for a fact that night hags are not particularly dexterous. However, on a high roll, she gets a 20 total.
Oof, dang, that's enough. Okay. Still does magic damage now, and then I will also do, let's do a goading attack. And so they have to make that one has to make a wisdom saving throw, DC 20.
Okay, and this isn't magic.
Yeah, I think it's DC 20, not 21.
That is a failure.
Okay, so now, on a failed save, the target has disadvantage on all attack rolls against targets other than me until the end of my next turn. Also add some damage. So that is, get my other dice. Oops.
Not sure this hag's gonna have another turn.
We'll see. Wow, that's very above average. 16, 25, 37, 59 from that one. That one is magic damage.
Yes, that hag crumples into a heap of bloody robes
Right.
and is dead.
Okay. Well, then I'll take a shot at another one, a different one. That's actually probably gonna miss. That's, let's see, 20 to hit actually.
Yeah, that hits.
Oh, it hits. Okay. I rolled a 6.
They don't seem to be wearing any armor or anything, and they're not particularly dexterous. So.
Okay. And then I'll do just a magic arrow on this one, and that is let's see, 32 damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
She lives.
Okay. And that will be let's see, I already have summon the animals is concentration, yes?
Yep.
Okay, so I already have
I think so.
concentration out, so then I will not do healing spirit, and my turn is over.
Okay. Ronan's turn. The hag before you, who was formerly Ronan, you watch as she doesn't even blink, like she kind of looks back and sees one of her sister hags fall to the ground, a crumpled heap of ichor and just dirt once your arrows strike into her. And she looks back to you unaffected. There's no sorrow, grief, anger, there's no emotion in her eyes at the event that just transpired whatsoever. She looks to the group of you for a brief second and then looks to the slotty and kind of waves her hands at them. And you can see that they like kind of hunched down a little bit, some of the tension going out of their bodies, and they kind of creep back from the circle just slightly. And she says, "Now that's quite enough of that for now, I think, dearies. Wouldn't you say? Can't we just talk a moment?" And that's her turn. And we'll see what the rest of you do next. The slotty on their turn. Well, let's see. More will appear. Will they be green? Let's find out.
Oh God.
I was just gonna say that.
Let's see. On a roll of a 3. No, they're not green.
Blue.
Uh, 3 blue slotty appear and then kind of make their way over to surround this circle. But don't make any sort of aggressive moves. This green slotty also uses his full move to kind of get over to here, ignoring Harmony. Like, it was pretty fixated on Harmony, but instead it makes its way over this direction. And they take no aggressive action, though you can still see like anger and like the desire for destruction burning in their eyes. They don't seem to act on it. Mara, anything you'd like to do?
Were the apes before me though? An initiative?
Oh, I forgot the apes, didn't I? They were at 17, I believe. Yeah, let me just add them in real quick.
DK.
Okay, yeah. So the apes go before.
Yeah,
What
so-
do you have the apes do?
So
Zant?
to the beat of the congos, well, Funky gets back on Lulu first of all, so I'll move him. But then, I guess they're gonna hold an action. They're gonna hold
Mhm.
their rock attacks, just to see if we did want to try and negotiate. I guess because they noticed that everything is sort of stalled. So the second that there's a hostile action, then they're gonna throw rocks.
Throw some rocks. Okay. Then it's Mara's turn.
Okay, so Mara will say, well, call off your goons and I won't attack.
Oh, they won't attack until they're told to do so, and there's no point in that right now, is there, darling?
That's entirely up to you. So I'll hold an action too. Wait and see
Okay.
what she does.
Byakko.
Byakko's with us. I guess Byakko will. He can't technically hold a pounce, right? No, because he has to move first. Yeah, when you move 20 feet, and then you can hit
Right.
with a claw attack. So you can't do that. So, Byakko, let me just measure. Let's see. Okay, so Byakko's gonna move up a little bit, probably next to Thaddeus, and then just like snarl at them and wait.
Okay. The 2 remaining night hags look afraid of Byakko. Like, they're kind of looking warily at this tiger that is snarling. And they've seen Byakko's like magic claws tearing through the slotty, so they know that Byakko is dangerous. More dangerous than your average tiger anyways. The 2 night hags kind of form up close as they can get to the hag who was formerly Ronan without going into Thaddeus's bubble there. And they seem to be, they stopped their chanting, they stopped their ritual that they were doing, and they just seem to be watching Ronan. Harmony.
Okay. I am going to, let's see. Oh Jesus, no. Let's see. I have 30 feet of movement, so I think I'll walk up to like here.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately forgot which was it here. So
Yeah,
I
about
just
there.
pointed to okay. Like immediately forgot. And can I make an insight check on Ronan?
Yeah. What do you want to learn? What do you want to learn?
Is she trying to lure us into a trap, or does she really want to just talk?
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't great. That was 6.
Okay. Her back is kind of turned to you now, so you don't have facial cues to read. The one thing that strikes you is throughout all of this, you've never really learned what her motivations are in her transformed form. She's a bit of a mystery to you. You don't know at all what she's all about, and it just kind of strikes you now.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna hold an action to cast a spell if we are attacked, if any of us are attacked.
Okay. Then...
And I'll say, what do you want? What do you want, Ronan?
Oh, nothing much in particular. For now, just to talk a little bit.
What do you want
Thaddeus,
to talk about?
it's your turn.
I'm gonna make an insight check on her. I'm trying to determine whether or not she is stalling for time.
Okay.
Natural 20, so a 22.
22, okay. That's a very high roll. She also rolled very high, but I'll give you more than I gave Harmony. Like Harmony, Ronan's motivations in her new form are a mystery to you. However, you get a little bit more insight out of the expression you saw when her fellow hag was killed. There wasn't any, anger, any sadness, any sort of emotional attachment to the creature. So what you understand in this brief moment is that Ronan is probably not playing the same game as the rest of the hags in Mother Midnight's service. She probably has her own motivations, and while you're not necessarily sure whether she's stalling for time, you do think that she genuinely, at this point, just wants to talk.
I'll say, if you wanted to talk, you could have dispensed with all this and come to us at the start.
Oh, yes, I very well could have, but that's not the way that it was fated to go. Does Thaddeus want to do anything on his turn?
That is like, he's like drumming his fingers on the hilt of his sword, looking over at Harmony.
Okay, Harmony, you see that. But if that's it, then it's Lulu.
Yeah.
Lulu kind of looks down at Thaddeus and says, she's evil, right? I mean,
Oh, yes.
we've got to kill her, right?
Mm-hmm. I think Thaddeus and Lulu are both going to move down a little bit.
Okay.
I want to get these hags in the aura. I'm also curious if, like, I assume that Ronan was completely unaffected by the aura.
She does seem unaffected. She's like, from your insight check, you can see she's not like quivering in fear or anything like that. She seems to be standing boldly where she is. And she doesn't like flinch at all as you approach and walk towards her, sword drawn.
Okay. And I'll stop about 10 feet away from Ronan.
What is your DC for your saving throw?
19.
19. Okay. One of these hags, this one,
Mhm.
starts trembling in fear as you approach. This other one miraculously makes it save. So I'll mark this one as being afraid of you.
I imagine that they are wiser than all these slotty.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Okay. A full round passed without anyone taking any sort of violent action at this point. So we'll drop out of combat for the moment, but I'm going to keep the initiative. If we need it, we can drop back into it. What continues to happen over the span of moments as this conversation will unfold is that more slotty are going to start to appear. And I'm not going to make them all appear at this point because that would slow things down. But if combat resumes, there will be more slotty than are here. Okay, so at this point, the hag who was Ronan turns around to get a look at Harmony and just kind of gives you a sly glance and says, "Are you going to stand over there and make me talk in two directions?"
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good option to me.
Very well. And she moves herself so that she can kind of see both of you. And you can see the other hags go to move with her, but she kind of gives them a little bit of a glare and they stay where they are. And she focuses her attention on Harmony and says, "It's been a little while since Avernus, dear. And even longer since Ravenmore."
A lot has happened in a very short time.
Indeed, it's been, well, I would say a true pleasure of my life, but in fact, one of the only pleasures of my life thus far to watch you grow into the incredibly powerful creature that you have.
Why the interest in me?
You were there at the beginning, and I know you'll be there at the end. My end, your end, that's yet to be seen. But one of our ends, perhaps both.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Fate and destiny rarely do. The threads are so intertwined and they can never make up their mind which way they want to go. Only certain distinct events are clear. Our meeting was one. Our ultimate confrontation is another. But
What
it
do
has
you
many
want,
outcomes.
Ronan?
She gives you kind of a soft look, like the look a grandmother would give to a grandchild who is just saying silly things. And she says, oh, darling, I just want to see you to your ultimate fate. See you achieve your destiny, whatever that may be.
Why? What does it have to do with you? Outside of fate.
My mother, the hag who birthed me, was fixated on you.
Why?
Because you'll be, well, she hopes you'll be the instrument of her rebirth.
Why?
You are so young and so foolish.
Why?
She just goes, she kind of ignores your why, and just goes on and says, I suppose it's possible that some of my mother's fixation on you transferred to me, but I think part of it is that you were there when I was born, you and Tal, and what happened to Tal was regrettable. I wish he could have been here too, but even so, you will suffice, so far as my interests are concerned.
And what are those interests? Just seeing your mother reborn? seeing me do it?
Oh, you misunderstand, darling. I don't care if dear old Mother Midnight is reborn into her full glory as Malagard, the Hag Countess, once again. That is one interesting ending to the story. But it spells your demise. Another interesting ending to the story is that you and your friends here prevent that very event from happening. Perhaps kill me. Either way, an interesting end to the story. What I'm interested in is seeing that end and seeing how you choose to end it.
Then why are you here helping her?
Because for the moment, that's where my allegiances lie. She's my mother, after all. You know how mothers are. It's difficult to tell them no. A brief image of Valiance appears before your eyes.
Yep. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Is your allegiance that flimsy?
Flimsy, no.
You made it sound like, you know, at the moment, like you could change in an instant.
Yes, well, perhaps it all depends how things shake out in the end of our engagement, does it not?
Are you saying there's... Go ahead. Thaddeus was going to say something.
Why does Malagard think that we're going to cause a rebirth? We're here to kill her.
Oh, she doesn't think that it will be a willing cooperation. I don't think she or anyone could be that deluded. But surely you've realized by now, Harmony, that the power that dwells within your veins is that of pure and complete creative force and energy. You've seen what this plane is, and she gestures around to like the rotting flesh and all of the various like rib cage mountains that are protruding out of the ground of the place. No magic short of absolute raw creation and life could resurrect a creature such as this. My mother will provide the rituals and direction for the energy necessary. But she will use you as the instrument of her rebirth. Or so she hopes.
And are you offering your assistance to us for a price?
No, what gave you that idea?
Well, you're giving us all of this insider info right now.
I don't think Mother cares whether you know or don't. You're coming anyways.
Fair
Tell
point.
me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
Besides, as I've said before, one way or another, I get what I want. She takes a step closer to Harmony. And then another step. Do you react at all?
I
You
stand my ground.
I think Thaddeus called out, stop.
She casts a glance at Thaddeus and then a glance at Harmony. Takes another step closer.
I'm prepping a spell.
She gets right up next to Harmony. Doesn't look back at Thaddeus.
Thaddeus is going to move a little bit closer to back
Okay.
up Harmony for whatever's about to happen here.
Do you move Lulu as well?
I don't know if I'm in control of Lulu at the moment.
Lulu, I think, will move with you, though.
Okay.
Just because she's a little bit nervous about this situation.
With Bianca to follow.
Okay.
Not Mother Midnight, this hag who was Ronan. I can't remember. Have you heard her hag name before?
They
It
know.
was, yeah,
Rotten Rowan.
rotten, yeah,
Rotten
something
Rowan,
like that, yeah.
Now that she's right up next to you, you can smell sort of the smell of rotten wood. And you can see that while her skin has this sort of like ashy white wood texture to it, there are parts on it that are very clearly rotting. And there are like bugs like termites and things that crawl in the rot. She stops in front of you and then reaches out a hand to touch your face.
I let her.
Okay. You feel the sort of almost like damp wood texture against your face, and she says, "You and I were bound, Harmony, bound by fate. For a while I thought it was Tal, and Tal alone. But if he were truly bound to you and me, in the way that you and I are connected, well, he'd be here now. Fate has a way of driving the multiverse forward. Certain creatures have the power to defy its inexorable onslaught. But I will only find my place by following how you do so. And this I know in the core of my being." And she puts her hand off of your face. As she gets closer to you and initiates that contact, you can't help it. There's just like a brief reaction of the magic within you. It just kind of flares up a little bit just as she's speaking, and then it calms back down. I'm going to send you something real quick over Hangouts. Where are you?
Oh
There's
boy,
my-
oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
This is something that maybe Harmony wouldn't necessarily realize, but I'm going to tell you for player knowledge. That's something that I've been holding on to, but I feel like in this moment, it's something you should at least be aware of to weigh your choices.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, now she's just looking down at you after saying that. How do you respond?
If it's true, what you say, then I would suggest you make yourself scarce. Find a place to watch until this is over. And then I can help you find your path at its end.
Unfortunately, that's the one thing I cannot do. This story draws to its conclusion at a rapid pace, and I will be present there. That much is unavoidable.
Then I can see no other way to end this. Tell me, what do you remember of the orphanage?
I was very little. I remember impressions, feelings, safety, warmth, comfort.
Can I make an insight check?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to see.
Can you also make me an Arcana check?
Yes. Okay. Which one
Um,
would you like first?
or religion, if you're good at religion, either one.
Oof, no. Are you kidding me?
Thaddeus, do you have religion or Arcana?
I might have religion. I certainly don't have Arcana. No, I also don't have religion.
Okay,
Okay, insight first.
go for insight first. Yep.
That's a 13.
Okay. What are you trying to figure out with your insight?
I guess the question that I'm looking for an answer to is, are these memories from before Ronan was taken and turned into a hag, or are they after we brought her back?
Okay.
Although I guess we didn't bring her back to the orphanage, did we? We brought her to the safe house after.
Yeah, but whether or not she remembers that is the same thing.
But basically,
because the orphans were all
does
there
she
too.
remember her life before becoming a hag is the question that I'm kind of trying to find an answer to. So like, are her answers, like, do they seem like fabricated, like it's what she thinks it was like, or are they real memories, and are they?
With the 13, I think the thing that you would realize is, so by the time you brought her back to Mandus and Alan and Tal, she had started growing at a really alarming pace.
So she was older at the time.
So she was older. And so if she were talking about memories from that time, they probably would have been more solid memories. What she seems to be conveying is the sorts of things a young, like an infant might remember if they could remember, being that age.
Right, okay. Arcana check.
Yep.
Ooh, that's really good. That's a 27.
27, okay. Especially with all of your research into hags, you know that they sometimes, they'll usually retain memories, so that much makes sense. But one of the things you realize is that, and I think this would be pretty obvious, but she's acting very different from normal hags. But what you realize with a 27, you said, Arcana check, is sort of the reason behind why she's acting different. When a hag is born, it becomes an entirely different creature, right? You don't think that's the case here, at least not completely. And Lulu, I actually just rolled a check for Lulu because no one else really had religion. And she doesn't either, but she at least has a decent shot. And I rolled high for her. Lulu whispers something to Thaddeus as Harmony probably comes to a similar conclusion. She says, Thaddeus, I know this is weird, but I think this creature still has a piece of its soul from when it was human. Small, battered, bruised, broken, but present.
Thaddeus considers that hard for a moment and then sheaths his sword. It was not something he was expecting to hear.
And Lulu can kind of continue whispering into your ear to kind of like convey the seriousness of what she just said. Most of the time, I don't think that hags have their souls or creatures like this. I think this is an oddity.
I think, yeah, Thaddeus nods and says, and like whispers back to Lulu, I thought this was foolishness. I thought that this was a creature I thought Harmony had never met Ronan, in fact. I thought that she had always only known the hag. But if what you're telling me is true, then this deserves consideration.
She is evil. I can sense that much. But there's more than if she were a fiend, if she were a devil, there wouldn't be that fragment there. I don't know what to do. That's what Lulu says to you. Harmony, as you come to a similar conclusion, what do you say?
I'm sorry. My brain is just like short circuiting from all of the information. Well, if you're going to be there when this ends, then you need to survive until then. So I suggest you leave this place now, and we'll see each other for the big finale.
she looks at you. She looks to the rest of the group and she says, very well. If that's what you wish, then I suppose I'll leave you to clean up here. And she begins to cast a spell. And if
Do I
no
mean,
one,
do I recognize that it's like a teleport spell or something?
roll an Arcana check.
Okay. Same thing, 27.
That is enough for you to realize, yes, she's casting the teleport spell.
Okay, I let her do it.
Okay. She disappears in a flash of dark light.
Do the slotty keep spawning?
The slotty have continued to spawn throughout the course of this conversation. Let me just see if there's any of a specific type.
Did she take anyone with? Did she take her other hags with her?
Nope.
Oh.
All of the slotty who appear are either blue or red. So they have been kind of grouping up around this circle that you've formed here.
I said before that I was preparing to cast a spell as Ronan kind of approached me. Will you allow me to cast it as a reaction to her leaving?
Sure.
Cool. Then I cast Crown of Stars.
Oh.
And let's see. It's in here somewhere. Basically, so Ronan leaves, you said, in like a flash of dark. And Harmony, there's this flash of course, rainbow and that mix of dark from ruin, but also bright, brilliant, radiant light that centers around her head. And she has these 7 star-like motes that start orbiting her head that look like stars. Yeah. And my wild magic goes off, I think, because it looks like Tides of Chaos was bright. So that's also a thing.
I crown the Lady
Queen of the
Harmony,
Queen of the motes.
Queen of Chaos, Queen of Creation, maybe?
I guess. Yeah. Wow. 43 or 4. Whew.
She's starring in her own episode.
Ooh, yeah, we'll do 43 because
Okay.
that's cool. That adds to the coolness factor.
Yeah, as Harmony conjures these 7 rainbow-like starry motes around her head, a bit of the light, breaks off of that and kind of shimmers down around her, forming this spectral rainbow shield. The hags, who are now surrounded by the group of you and the slotty who cannot get to you, kind of look nervously at each other and begin to start trying to cast spells. But the group of you, with all of your readied actions, in harmony with your motes of stars, tell me how the group of you just finished this encounter.
So rocks are thrown.
Yeah. I'm shooting motes of starlight from my head.
Yeah.
Rocks.
Unsheathes the sword and cuts down one of these hags.
Yep. Throwing daggers at the other hag.
I'm using all 7 stars to take out these mob creatures one by one.
And as soon as both of those hags are dead, the magic that was keeping the rainbow rifts active seems to splutter and come to a halt, and those rainbow rifts shrink into
great.
themselves and disappear from reality, and no more slotties seem to start appearing. The ones that are around you can't get to you, so just one by one, you start taking them down. And some of them try to run, but Zant, with your range, and Mara, with your ability to throw daggers towards them, quickly prevent any Slotty from spreading too far away, and manage to clear the battlefield without issue.
Woo!
Great.
We are awesome.
I mean, I was
Rah.
low-key hoping to go back into combat because I had a +2 to my AC, but that's fine.
I know.
Was
The thing is, though, with Rotten Rowan gone, nothing here is a threat to you.
That's fair.
was she whispering to Harmony, or was she speaking?
No,
so
she
everyone
was
could hear?
speaking loud enough for everyone. Like, she was speaking softly, but you could definitely have heard her.
Okay.
I don't understand, Harmony. What happened to the plan of shoving her in the box?
Well, I didn't want to hurt her. And I think that she might be more willing than we first thought to accompany us, or there might be another way to get to her later. I don't think I'm ever going to have trouble finding her, especially if I go looking for her.
I think the problem is that she's free, and it sounds like she's still allied with Malagard, so we might have to, we might see her again on the battlefield rather than,
That's true.
right?
That happens.
It did sound that way. It sounded like she still plans to stand with Malagard against you, but she's not particularly invested in one conclusion of that event or another.
Right.
If that
Well,
happens, you still want us to pull our blows?
I bought us some more time. I need to think.
All right.
That's what happened.
Well, we stopped the ritual. Our mission's complete.
That's true.
Okay, so the group of you are left standing on a battlefield full of the corpses of Slotty and hags, but having survived and had a conversation with an old acquaintance that didn't end in bloodshed.
Yeah.
Well, it did end in bloodshed.
Well, just not any of yours.
Shall we go give Malik the good news?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And I did save a 7th level spell, so I can just teleport us there.
Well,
Unless Lulu can teleport us. Oh, but there's no ally there anymore.
we can just fly back.
Pinky's not her ally, I guess, her friend.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, you did like Pinky
That's
behind.
right.
Oh yeah, we could. I mean, we could just fly back, but I do
Yeah.
have a 7th level spell, and we're
Yeah,
gonna have to rest
maybe we
before we
should.
go out anyway.
But maybe not a long rest. I'm wondering if we can do another mission today.
I am pretty burnt out.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
You might be able to get to work on the one you were talking about, your deception.
Yeah, we talked about that one a little bit. I don't know if we're going to pursue that mission. I feel like we need to know. We need to have like a lot more thorough understanding of all the parties involved for us to
Mhm.
get a plan off the ground, and we just don't have that.
Well, that's what Malik's there to help you with. So.
Yeah, well, in any case, should we fly back then, or should we teleport?
Fly back, I think. But to Thaddeus's point, I'm actually pretty okay with the short rest if there was something else that we could do today. Just to add to that.
The one thing I will say is, I can find the document. Doing multiple missions in a day will give you a point of exhaustion.
Oh, I see.
okay.
Okay. Let's not do that then, because I was trying to think of. I was trying to like. I know the clock is ticking, so I was trying to think. Well, if we didn't use that many resources on this fight, and I didn't think that we did, but maybe.
But we also fought the hounds this morning.
That's also true. Yeah, we've had a day.
Yeah, like we've already had a short rest, so like our hit die are also expended.
That's also true. Yeah, let's just fly though.
Sure.
Okay, so you take the rest of the day to sort of fly back to Malik's camp. As you fly over the battlefield, you can see that the tide has shifted somewhat in your favor after the events of your battle with the hags. It seems like Moloch's forces and Ruin's forces combined have managed to push back the other devils opposing them to some extent. The front line seems to have pushed farther away from your base camp than it was before.
Sweet.
So do you fly, you get inside of the base camp and you can see Moloch's tent, or so do you fly to there, or do you fly past to sort of the place where you've been setting up the Temple of Cold Justice?
Well, we do need to report back to Moloch, right? I mean, we could divide and conquer. I could go report and you could go set up the temple. if you want.
Yeah, it takes me a long time, so I might as well.
Okay, so you kind of let Harmony slide off the back of Lulu.
Nothing's better for Thaddeus' good health than not being there while Harmony's talking to Moloch.
I'll go with Harmony.
Yep, that's, yeah. Whoever wants to come is welcome.
Which way does Mara go?
I'll go with that.
Okay.
How long did it take us to fly back, by the way?
Probably a couple of hours. I don't
Okay.
remember how long exactly it took you to fly out to there.
You said it was
Just
pretty close to the
checking.
battlefield, but I don't know relatively what that meant. So
Yeah, I think probably a couple of hours both
Okay.
ways.
sure.
I'm just checking because my wild magic that had triggered earlier was an hour of no smiling. So she's back to smiling now. But
That's right.
it might have been the situation that we were in. It might have been, who knows, but Harmony has not been smiling, and then suddenly halfway through she's able to smile again.
Great. It's better than being forced to smile by wearing a helmet or
That's
whatever
true.
it is.
Or a wand.
Yeah, okay, so we're back at camp, and I guess Zant and I are gonna go see Moloch. Mara, are you going with Daddy, or are you coming with us?
I'm going with Daddy, but I tell you to bring Pinky back with you.
Okay, I will make sure not to lose any of him this time.
Did you leave Pinky in Moloch's tent? Was that it?
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. When you open up Moloch's tent and make your way into there, Moloch is there, and so is Pinky, and Pinky is just kind of bothering Moloch, like constantly. Like the swarm of rats is just kind of like up next to Pinky, and as soon as you enter into the tent, you can hear its psychic voice in your head just going, food, 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 food. Where is the one who gives us our food? Snacks, please. And Moloch's just like, go away. I don't have snacks for you. You wouldn't like any of the food we have here in hell anyways.
I'll elbow Zant and be like, give him one of your good berries or something.
Oh, sure. Okay. So I think I casted Goodberry, right? Today? I don't remember.
I assume you do every morning.
I
but
do too. Okay, so I'll give him a Goodberry.
Okay. When you present the berry and try to offer it to the creature, all of the rats climb over each other to try and be the one that gets to consume the berry. And it's like all of them are kind of like biting at each other and like pulling on
So
each other's tails.
I'll just
and
like throw
clawing
it
over
into the
one
pile
another.
of pinkies and let them fight over it.
It devolves into a puddle of thrashing
and
rats. Yep.
hopefully that'll work itself out.
distract him for a second,
Yeah.
so the grown-ups can talk.
Gotta love
Yeah,
it.
so I'll walk up to Moloch and can I make an insight check before I even start
Sure.
talking?
What are you trying to find out?
I just want to kind of read the atmosphere of the room a little bit and see if he is back kind of to himself for the most part, or if he's more stressed than usual, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I don't know why I keep doing these. I'm not good at insight checks. But yeah, 11.
11. He looks like he might be upset about something, or maybe he's just focused. It's a little bit unclear, but like he's under pressure. That much is clear.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll just walk up and say, hey, so we took care of the hag problem.
Hey, yeah. I got reports from scouts that the devils that were being protected by the ritual no longer are so, and that we've made good progress on that front. So good job, boss.
Thanks.
Didn't expect any less. Do you have any trouble?
Not really.
Just in the morning.
Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
we were this morning attacked by a couple of mechanical dog creatures. 3 of them?
mechanical dog
4?
creatures.
4? Were there 4 of
I
them?
think there were 4 of them.
There were 4.
Yeah, big things that like were able to enter. They were able to enter Thaddeus's temple.
They weren't
and
fiends.
yeah,
Mm.
they were constructs, I guess.
Yeah, I'd heard tell that Mephistopheles and hold on, there's another character I'm trying to think of here. Mephistopheles and Piarza had constructed some, well, more powerful, less limited hellhounds in order to get at those who were a little bit more protected.
I thought it
That
was
must be what you encountered.
I thought it was a Mercer and Thimblefoot collaboration, given the timely fashion that we detected them.
Well, I suppose that's possible. I'll admit, it's like I said, it's been a while since I was in hell. I'm not up to date with the latest, infernal war technology and who's made what, but
Have your scouts seen any more of these things out there, or?
nope, no reports of metal dogs, no reports of anything like that.
Okay.
So whatever they were, they must have been gunning just for you.
Yeah,
what it
well,
felt like.
that's
Which,
very true.
Having traveled with you long enough,
Yeah.
I know a lot of things do that. So
It's not a big surprise. How are things here? I saw that it looks like the front line has been pushed forward a little bit. We're making
it
good
has,
progress.
but we're getting some troubling reports from the furthest of our front lines.
Oh,
Reports of mass destruction at the hands of some sort of living siege engine encased entirely in infernal iron. Destruction on a level we haven't seen yet in this battle, or to my knowledge, any battle within hell. And I'm
Bigger
going
than
to
that bomb?
I'm going to unlock the bottom.
Wondering about this.
oh yeah, I need to
Yeah.
go open that up too.
I'm looking at it right now. I wasn't going to highlight it because I was waiting for Ethan to do it, but
So Moloch says, we're really close now. We're very close to victory, but these reports that are talking about this massive living siege engine, none have given a clear description. All that they talk about is how violent and destructive the thing has been. It just clears a path wherever it goes through our forces. Even Ruins devils, the most trained among them, had to retreat before this creature, I'm being told. There's a lot we don't know, but this thing it's right in front of Malagard's lair. It's right where we need to be. And it's possible that succeeding in other objectives and dwindling these forces arrayed against us enough would, be sufficient to, quell the armies and send them packing. But I think that also if we took down this thing, it might break their will to fight. It might be the final straw that we need. And you can see that the thing is worth 6 points, which is your remaining amount.
Yeah. Interesting. Well,
is it visible from here, or is it?
It is
very
not,
far?
no.
Okay.
You didn't see this creature on your way in.
Yeah.
Trying to find the one you just completed so that I can mark it complete. There it is.
It's the one right above. Yeah.
Can somebody send me the link to that again?
oh yeah, I got it.
Sorry, I thought I saved it.
There you go.
Thank you.
I think we can hold out against it for a little while longer, but one way or another, we need to draw this war to an end quick. If this thing is allowed to rampage across the battlefield for any more than a few more days, I think that our forces will crumple based on what I've heard of this thing.
So you think this thing is a priority right now,
it
given all
sounds-
the other
There's-
tasks?
There's a lot of potential priorities here. I don't think this is the only way to end the war. I think it's the quickest way to end the war.
I see.
That's probably true. All right, well, we'll take this info back to the group. And we'll let you know tomorrow morning.
You as a group should talk about it and come back here, and I may have more information. We can chat about it some more after you've had a discussion.
Like in a little bit or in the morning?
He kind of looks over the group of you and says, well, it kind of looks like you need a little bit of downtime.
Actually, his aunt was like completely healthy. Like
But if you're
shiny
ready to
armor.
go, like right away, sure, come right on back.
I'm thinking we could at least, I mean, kind of looks at Harmony.
You could
but
potentially scout this thing
scouting,
out.
that's kind of what
yeah.
I'm thinking. I'm like, maybe, not take it on, but at least scout it a little bit and then group up for an information dump or something.
Like you and I right now, or like
No, we'll go back and
in a little bit.
yeah, we'll get
Like you and Mara could take a ride, just the two of you.
well, I was
To a
thinking
whole
all
new
of us
world.
A
would
whole
go.
new world.
Yep. Ethan's got it.
Oh, you guys.
Scouting
Moloch hands you a
demon
magic
engine
carpet.
things.
He just hands you a magic carpet.
Really?
No.
I've been wanting one of the
Well,
whole campaign.
Lulu was almost
Maybe in
like one
campaign two.
though.
Maybe in campaign two.
Lulu's not a magic carpet. Lulu's Appa.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It's
That's
more like
true.
Appa. Yep.
That's true.
That's true. All right. Well, yeah, that's certainly concerning. We'll talk about it and we'll take a rest and we'll come back and as a group and let you know what our thoughts are.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good, boss.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just come on, Pinky. Let's go find your mom.
The puddle of rats that has been clawing at each other seems to have one of them must have gotten the berry because they kind of have recoalesced into their large rat-like form, and they just kind of glide across the ground after you. So
Okay.
yeah, so you make your way out of camp. You can see the camp is not super populated right now. Seems like most of the forces are kind of out in the battlefield. There's some that are injured or some that are resting here, but for the most part, people are out there, or devils are out there doing their part to, keep the enemy's forces away from this camp.
Yep.
So you don't really see or encounter anyone before you make your way to the Temple of Cold Justice, and you find Thaddeus and Mara there. Did Thaddeus and Mara talk about anything during this time?
I don't know. Do you have anything else to talk to Thaddeus about?
Mara, being curious, is going to ask, since she overheard the soul thing, can ask Thaddeus about his knowledge of it, and would there be some kind of ritual that he's aware of that would help restore her?
Thaddeus thinks for a bit and says, the problem, as far as I understand it, is we're dealing with something that, I mean, I don't know, I don't have thorough knowledge of, comprehensive knowledge of all the hags in the multiverse, but if it's not unprecedented, it's certainly rare to the point that no one has ever heard of this happening before. So there's not, to my knowledge, an established way of dealing or restoring a hag who still has a piece of her soul, because who's ever heard of a hag with a piece of her soul left?
True.
But I will say I had more hope than I did yesterday.
Well, that's saying a lot. That's all.
Okay.
I thought you were going to ask about Dawn.
About what?
About Dawn. I thought you were going to be like, so Fatty, how are things with you and the lady?
Mara is not romantic by
Yeah,
any
clearly.
stretch of the imagination. I mean, I don't even think she steals the books out of Thaddeus's knapsack and reads them.
She
Yeah,
not even
so
have a
it's-
copy of Thaddeus' book.
Oh, you didn't buy a copy of Thaddeus' book? One of the 5 copies sold?
5 copies sold. How did you write that 5 years ago?
I read it at some point during the 5-year break.
Yeah, then she probably would have, but wouldn't have taken it with.
Well, but did he tell us his alias though? I don't think so, right?
Oh, I think we
I
could
probably
have
gave you
worked that out.
copies.
Okay.
Yeah, he probably didn't, but he gave you copies and said, I read this recently. It's really good.
Recommend it.
That's funny.
And
Zan
you
would
read
have
it,
read
it's
it.
like, oh, okay, obviously that.
And all if you look at like the bio of the author, and it's
Yeah.
clearly like trying to. There's hints at Thaddeus, but none of them clearly say.
Thomas
It, you know?
Moongleam, right? Isn't that his
Yeah,
pen name?
so good.
But yeah, all of you get back to the Temple of Cold Justice probably around the time Thaddeus is nearing completion of the ritual, and the temple is starting to shimmer into appearance.
Well, there's a new problem.
There always is.
Tell him about it.
Yeah. So, do we feel up for scouting it out today before we rest?
I would like it if somebody scouted it out. I mean, I have a lot of questions about this thing. First and foremost, is it a fiend? Because if it's not a fiend, I am going to have a hard time contributing to whatever fight we have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And
Yeah.
what's Lulu's big form duration / availability?
Technically, she can only do it once per day, and it lasts an hour. But we've been bending that rule and saying she can do it whenever she wants because I like that.
Oh,
So-
okay. So she can just
Yeah.
Okay. She can just maintain that for as long as we need to.
Yep.
To some degree. Okay.
I mean, that's the rule if she were if she were just the sum of the stat block that she is, but she's bound to Thaddeus's sword, so there's some different aspects. That's how I'm justifying it.
Okay.
Note to self, compare magic item to something from Avatar: The Last Airbender to get Ethan to bend the rules.
I see.
Were you thinking of going yourself, Sant, or are you
Yeah.
going to take one of us with you?
I'm ready to go, and I think if anyone is willing to join, I wouldn't turn you down.
With
I mean, I don't know if we should split up. Maybe we should all go.
I think that's the safest option.
All right.
The temple will be okay, right? After you summon it, it lasts.
Oh, yeah, 24
Okay.
hours.
Okay.
I mean, assuming no more constructs break into the roof, but
Right.
it's warded against fiends.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
If they do,
everyone-
no one will be here. So
Right.
And if you, Lulu will chime in and say, "Oh, and if we leave Byakko here, then I can just bring us all back."
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think that's fine. As long as Byakko doesn't mind. Looks at Byakko.
Just kind of rolls his head into your leg a little bit and purrs.
Okay, I pet him, and
give
I'm
him
like,
some
that's
good
fine.
berries.
Sure, that sounds fine. Well, are we ready to go right now?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Since you are kind of taking on another objective, even though it's not a full mission, you're going to do this as if you have all gained a point of exhaustion. So ability checks will be at disadvantage, but you can sleep that off with your next long rest. So it's just that you're a little bit tired from the efforts of the day, but still able to sort of power through and function for a brief scouting mission.
I can try and help Zant on whatever checks you're doing to offset that.
sure.
So how do you want to move out? What's the plan?
So, I know we had that interaction with Moloch, and he explained that it was next to Malgard's lair. Do we know where that is? Or would we have to check in with Moloch first and say, "Where's Malgard's lair? Can you show us tell us where this thing is?"
He probably could have told you where it was.
Okay.
I think he showed us, like, during the
On the
first
map.
briefing, Thaddeus asked, like, why are we doing this? And Malik was like, oh, because the layer is here and all
Oh.
the forces are like
And the
right here.
forces are literally
Yeah.
like on top of it.
Mhm.
So
Okay. So, I guess for me, I think we'd want to just go within range of actually seeing it and sort of watching and observing it. Because if it's like fighting and working right now, we can at least get an idea of what
Yeah.
sort of destructive power it has. and then maybe look for if it gets attacked and potentially wounded by something where those weak spots might be. Or if
Yeah.
if it's a siege weapon, then does it need people operating it? Is it a fiend? All those things.
How
For
big is it?
me, yeah, how big is it? So I would rely on my observation and also my know your enemy feat to try and find some of this information as well, or not feat, fighter
Okay.
ability.
I think you will definitely be able to do that once you get close enough. I just want to know kind of what your approach is for heading out
sure.
over the battlefield, because there are flying devils and things like that that will spot Lulu,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming you want
I
to
can
avoid
do
it.
a big invisibility again.
That would certainly help.
I have 1 7th level and 1 8th level left. And
That would-
Fatty, you still have uses of your scarf, right? So I don't have to cast
Yeah,
it on you.
I do.
So I think I
Haven't used
only
that
need to
today.
use it. I can use it as a 7th level and get all of us except for Thaddeus, I think. Oh, but Byako's not here.
So
So I could get all of us with the 7th regardless, I believe.
do we feel like it's a very big threat if we go in sort of without invisibility?
The fewer things can see us, the better.
If you go in without invisibility, Lulu's kind of a bold target because she exudes this celestial radiance in the middle of
Yeah.
hell. And she's a big flying elephant. So you will probably be spotted and attacked in the air by a devil patrol.
Plus, even things that are able to, like Thaddeus notices, True Sight has a fairly limited range, so we would have to be right up on top of something before it could see us if it were invisible.
Okay. Yeah, I think invisibility would be the safest option then.
Okay, did we leave Pinky behind too? I assume
Yeah.
with Byako.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I can get all of us with a 7th level spell. And it lasts for an hour.
Yeah, that should be, I think, enough time.
So we would
Like
cast
if
it
you
when
cast
we
it,
approach.
yeah, as you approach the border, that's enough time to definitely get you past. Probably find what you're looking for and hopefully get back.
Yeah, and
then I can always cast it again at a higher level if
I
we
also
need to.
have pass
Well,
without
to
trace.
get back, Lulu can just teleport us back.
That's right.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. So we only have to get there.
Yeah, when we're ready to do all this, I'll also do pass without trace. To
Okay.
give all of us +10 stealth if we need to roll for that.
All right, so the group of you climb up onto Lulu and begin winging your way back out towards the battlefield. The sort of labors of the day kind of weighing heavily on you, and you find yourselves feeling tired and exhausted and just ready for a rest. But you know that that long rest is waiting for you back at the Temple of Cold Justice as soon as this mission is over. So you assume that Lulu is feeling the same sort of pressure as she's kind of beating her wings tiredly but steadily towards the front lines. As you get close, Harmony and Zant, you cast your spells.
Mhm.
Harmony, would you check for wild magic just to be safe?
Please, 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 please. It goes off?
No, we're okay. It's a
We're
15.
The group of you turn invisible, and Zant, your magic kind of takes that invisibility and kind of even further enhances it, making it so that things like, when you would pass through a cloud of, there aren't clouds of moisture as in water or anything like that, but there are like noxious looking clouds and things like that that kind of drift lazily across this plane. When you would go through one of those, Zant's spell kind of reforms the cloud around you quickly, so that even though an invisible form has just pierced through this cloud, the shadow magic of Pass Without Trace kind of hides the things that would have made you visible. Can I get stealth checks from everybody? Just a flat roll, since it would be advantage with invisibility, but you're tired. But you get +10.
Still at disadvantage because I have armor.
Well, they cancels though, right?
Yeah, it's a flat cancel. You'd get advantage from
really?
invisibility.
Okay.
So you don't get double disadvantage.
Okay.
Yeah, in 5th edition, it's just either one or the other or nothing.
Ooh, that's a pretty good roll for Thaddeus.
I also got a pretty good roll.
All right, how did Thaddeus do?
27.
Very good. And Mara,
23.
Zant,
28.
Harmony,
Dirty 20.
dirty 20. And then did someone get Lulu, or should I
Oh,
get her?
I'll do Lulu.
Okay.
Let's see. Lulu's dex is 21 plus whatever her dex bonus is. Which
Sorry, that's 22 with my deck or stealth bonus, which I forgot to add.
So that's a 20 for Lulu.
Okay, easy enough.
Nice.
The group of you wing your way across the front lines of the battlefield, and you start finding yourselves having to kind of duck and weave in between flying patrols of devils and like various airborne combats that are in the middle of that are underway. Some of them using those flying war machines that you saw back on Avernus. But with your magics combined, the group of you managed to easily avoid all of these groups of devils who seem focused on their battles at hand. And you wing your way towards the back line of your enemy's forces to try and find this living siege engine that Moloch had described to you. And when it comes into view, it becomes apparent that this is the thing that you're looking for. It is a 30, 40, maybe even 50 or 60 feet tall creature with two legs that end in wicked-looking claws, each of the claws larger than 4 or 5 people combined. Its legs are ridiculously well-muscled, and in the entirety of its body is just covered in wicked-looking black infernal iron that kind of pulses here and there with orange glows, as if the iron itself was freshly forged. As its torso rises up above the plain, it culminates into a sort of human-like form, in that it has 2 arms and a torso. However, its 2 arms become immediately recognizable to everyone in this group except for Zant, as they culminate in a set of wicked-looking tentacles that flail, and with each flail devastate waves and masses of opposing devils and Yugoloths. And upon its shoulders, clad in dark metal infernal helmets that pulse with this fiery energy, are 2 ape-like heads that roar with fury. On its chest, emblazoned in the metal armor of the that it has on its body, you recognize a twisted Y-like shape, exactly identical to the one that was on Ruin's emblem that he presented to Asmodeus. You see before you, clad in infernal iron,
Oh no.
a living siege engine that is Demogorgon.
Again? Oh, jeez. So you said that I couldn't see something?
You
Oh,
just don't
that's why,
recognize it.
because
You lost your memory.
your memory.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
You don't
I-
remember. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, we need him to remember what he did.
You told me
I
what
was
I
going to
did.
say, how cool would it be if he did that again?
Demogorgon again?
If he cut off his head again.
In
Oh my
a
gosh.
significantly powered up looking form. That's what you see.
Crap.
What kind of checks do you want to make to investigate this thing that you see before you, just laying waste to wave after wave of Yugoloth forces? Infernal war machines come up against it, and it just crushes them with a single tentacle,
Wow. Well, this sucks.
roaring with fury as it goes.
Yeah, as soon as you said everyone but Sant recognizes it, I was like, oh shit, it's a Demogorgon.
I knew it from a little bit because I know what Demogorgon looks like.
Yeah, I forgot that I forgot. So you said that, I'm like, what? How could I not know this thing? And then I'm like, oh crap, dang it. So with Know Your Enemy, I think the only thing that I would want to know is its armor class
Okay.
compared to
Let me
mine.
pull up the stats here. Homebrew creations.
Zant killing
Right.
siege engine.
Demogorgon, Slave of Asmodeus. Here we go.
Oh, jeez.
It's armor class. What is your armor class, Zant?
Without a shield, it's 19. With a shield, it's 21.
It is higher than your armor class.
Okay. Shoot.
I mean, is that really a surprise?
Yeah,
though,
you can see
guys?
that these, like, it is armored head to toe in this horrible looking black infernal iron that pulses with magical energy.
So I think Zant will say, "What is that thing?"
That's the thing that you cut a head off of. Before.
No, there's no way. Like, look
Yeah,
at
well,
this
I
go.
mean, this is obviously a much, much more powerful version of it.
Well, I mean, if we can do it once, maybe we can do it again.
I don't know. This thing looks a little scarier than the other one, but I'm game. Just not right now.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
What drove us to
Any-
fight that type of monstrosity?
We
Jeez.
didn't really have a choice.
No. It's like deja vu
All over again.
So,
on steroids.
yeah, I think. Does it have any? Well, I'm asking, does it have any new things that it didn't have before? But
I mean,
obviously, I
the
don't.
armor.
Zant doesn't remember, but
Yeah. I mean, Harmony can basically, if you ask
yeah,
us, we can tell you.
Zant, why don't you roll me a perception check?
sure.
Or whoever wants to.
I'll help.
I don't think it'll matter, right? Because we have disadvantage from what's it called?
Yeah, I mean, she would just make it a.
It would make it a
yeah,
straight
yeah,
roll
okay,
instead of
okay, I see.
disadvantage.
And okay, sure. 23.
23. You don't remember what this creature looked like before, but as you're observing it for a little bit invisibly, you spot a number of places on its armor where it seems to have devices built into the armor, gadgets of some kind, mechanical, magical, infernal in nature somehow. And if you point them out to, well, I mean, your allies have already said it didn't have the armor before, but if you point them out to your allies, they can all say, no, it didn't have those before.
Right. Otherwise, I guess like ability-wise, like it's doing kind of the same thing, where it's just
Right now, nothing seems to be challenging it, so it is literally just like wiping things off the board in front of it, stomping
Okay.
on things. It is like a Godzilla creature, just
Fantastic.
stomping everything that comes before it.
You sit
And so
central.
there's really no way to find out, like, oh, I mean, the weaknesses of it, or any way to disable devices or anything.
Do you have other abilities that would allow you to find out something like that?
A really long-range weapon.
You have knowledge of like magical and mechanical devices. You could try and roll like a Tinkerer's
Tinkering.
Tools check to try
Sure, I'll
and
do that.
get info about that.
What were you gonna say, Nick?
Oh, last time we had some assistance from the defenses of what was the name of that town again?
Tantalor.
Oh, and
Anton. Yeah.
Mhm.
Does it look like anything that the armies below are doing is having any effect on it?
Not really. And in fact, this thing seems to have a number of devils protecting it as well. You can see fluttering by its shoulders are some of those like Aaron-Yeast devils that have these wicked looking poison bows that they're shooting down at the other devils and Yugoloths arrayed before them, preventing too many creatures from even getting close enough to strike at it.
you could probably bring this information back to Moloch and create like a strike force, though.
Yeah.
That is possible. You could enlist.
Like if we arm them with the knowledge that we have, we'd be able to
Yeah.
bring people with us.
Tell them like this is what we had last time, and we're gonna need it again.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna need more probably if it's powered up.
Probably. Yeah.
What was your Tinkerer's Tool check?
So, remind me, what do I add to a
It'd
proficient?
be your intelligence and your proficiency.
Intelligence and proficiency. Okay, and our proficiency is 6.
6.
Yes, there it is. Okay. That'd be +8. I rolled pretty well. This is a 27.
27.
27 all around tonight.
Looking at the devices that are on its body and armor, they are similar to several things that you've encountered before.
Mhm.
There are elements of them that are similar to Warforged augmentations, mechanical elements that you think you could certainly tamper with. There are also elements to it that are similar to the infernal war machines, which you tinkered with back in Mad Maggie's junkyard, which means you know that they probably are powered by souls from things like soul coins. So if you could find a way to, blow up the soul furnaces or otherwise cut off that flow of energy, you might be able to do something that way. There's options.
Do I get the impression that these can be disabled in a way that they can like sort of feedback
Backfire?
Yeah.
You know that infernal war machines have a tendency, if they are overloaded or damaged in the wrong way, to encounter mishaps, and you figured the same is probably true here.
Okay.
Assuming that these are as similar to infernal war machines as you're fairly sure that they are.
I would, yeah. Okay, that makes sense to me. Okay, so I think that's definitely good information.
I'd also like to make an Arcana check on the symbol,
Sure.
the Y symbol,
Do you need?
at disadvantage.
I guess since someone's helping me, Mara, maybe you can help Harmony.
Sure. Okay.
I think Lulu is helping Chant.
Oh, Lulu's helping me. Okay.
Well, that's not great. So I'll use Tides of Chaos.
Very good.
Although Tides of Chaos technically just gives me advantage. It doesn't give me a reroll. So I
Then
already
yeah,
have
it
advantage,
probably
so
wouldn't
it doesn't
apply
work.
here.
So yeah, that
Unfortunately.
was a 10.
A
Oh,
10?
shoot.
You don't necessarily know what the symbol means. You don't have any, it doesn't look like any arcane glyphs you've seen before, but you clearly recognize it from the medallion that
Everyone
Ruin
gave
presented
to-
to Asmodeus. So it is clearly connected to that in some way.
Okay.
She
So
would probably also remember it from Kame Island.
Yeah, you might have also seen it on Kame Island. That's true.
Did we?
Let me think.
On the,
No, you wouldn't have seen it on Kame Island because
what are you
none of-
thinking about, Nick?
there were factions on Kame Island that worshipped demons, but none of them worshipped Demogorgon.
Oh, okay. I might be thinking of.
It was Juiblex, Yinogu, and Baphomet.
Baphomet's who I'm thinking of.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
And Baphomet's a big goat-like dude, so this is not him.
So the other thing I would like to observe is, I guess tactically, does it look like it's just clearly defending something, like it's not leaving its post? Or is it like rampaging, just running around without any aim to?
You could roll an insight check for that,
Okay.
and I'd assume someone helps you.
That's
So
pretty good. That's a 24.
24. Yeah, you think that this thing is, while it is pressing forward a little bit, it does seem to be maintaining a specific perimeter.
Okay.
And as you kind of survey the area, you see that it never strays too far from the mouth of a cave, like a wide cave entrance that seems to descend down into the plain of Malbolg.
Okay.
Right, which is probably Malagard's lair, right? Safe to assume.
I want to, I guess, I don't know, I want to get close, but not too close. Like, still far enough away that it couldn't see us with true sight.
So you get like within 120 feet or something like that?
Yeah. And cast Locate Object. And the object I want to do is the amulet that I saw Ruin give to Asmodeus.
If you cast a spell, your invisibility goes kaput.
This is true.
Oh, okay.
So if
So,
you're,
like, you
if
can
you're
do it,
prepared
but it'll-
for,
I can do it, and then I can immediately cast invisibility on myself afterward.
you'll be visible for 6 seconds, or you can do it and then Lulu can just teleport us out of here immediately.
That was what
Yeah,
I was
that
going to
might-
suggest.
Yeah, so if anyone else has anything they want to do, I will do this last.
I mean, I can't think of anything else personally. I think I got what I wanted.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Oh,
If we
sorry. Go ahead. You first.
go closer to the cave, can we look down in it from our vantage point?
You can't get too close to the cave without getting within this thing's potential true sight
Okay.
range. You can try and lower your angle and look down into it. Do you want to look for something?
I want to see if there's a target down there for a possible attack.
Okay. Like what do you mean? Like if there are any enemies dwelling down in there?
Or if something's controlling the Demogorgon or anything like that in the cave.
Roll a perception check then.
Disadvantage?
Or I can help you.
Yeah, Zant can help out, kind of guide your eyes.
That's 18.
18. Looking down into the cave, it gets dark quickly and you can't see very far down there. What you realize with an 18 is that there is a network of tunnels down there that seems to extend downward a ways into the depths of this plane. So yeah, unfortunately, you don't really see, occasionally you will see devils and other fiendish creatures kind of streaming out of there, but they just go join the fight. And then some might go back in there to rest a little bit, but for the most part, it seems to be a deep tunnel system. That's the
Okay.
sort of thing you would understand.
Tunnels like fleshy,
Nose hairs coming out.
gross, like tunnels into the bowels of the creature.
Possibly. Do you want
Yeah.
to roll like a nature check?
An anatomy check.
I think I'm good not
Not
knowing.
me.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Possibly.
Okay.
I just wanted to remind you all the hell that we're in right now.
Thanks. I need that. She rolls perception. What do you say? So the only other thing I want to know, or look for, I guess, quickly before we do the Thaddeus thing, is are there other like demonic lieutenants here, like the big named,
Oh, like
Or-
Hydrogen or somebody?
sort of at this battlefield?
Demonic or infernal?
Or I meant fiendish, like infernal. Yeah, not demonic.
Okay. Roll a, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a perception check.
That's pretty good too.
We
That's-
help you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a 15 plus 8, 23.
23. In this immediate vicinity, you don't see any sign of other archdevils or
Okay.
Other powerful demon lords like this one.
Okay.
A ways off, you might see a camp that has kind of the banner of the seventh layer of the nine hells, and one that has a banner of the eighth layer of the nine hells. You know that Mephistopheles isn't present, but it's possible that someone might be here representing the seventh, but you can't really tell from this distance.
Okay.
But they're not in this immediate vicinity.
Sure. Okay, that's fine then. I'm good. We can
Okay, Fatty, do your thing.
do your thing.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast locate object on that object.
Okay. If it were within 1,000 feet of you, you would know.
Yeah.
You cast the spell, becoming visible for a second, and the creature immediately catches your eye, and it looks up towards you. You don't sense the presence of that amulet in this area, but I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
With advantage still.
Oh yeah, because of Heroes Fused.
Yep.
Good call. Thank you. And I've got a plus 13 to this. So yeah, that's a 28.
28. Okay. The creature's gaze falls upon you, and once again, you can feel that sort of mind-altering effect as it just merely looks at you. But in the seconds before Lulu teleports the group of you away, you, with your force of will, push that away. And then Lulu says, "Okay, here we go." And with a flash of golden light, the group of you are back in the Temple of Cold Justice.
Hmm.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah.
Harmony, we are going to need a feast again tonight.
So maybe we should.
I feel
Are
like
we going after that thing again tomorrow? Like, is that what we're doing?
Well, we should talk to Moloch now, I think, and let him, because if we're gonna rest after, he'll have some time to think it over. We tell him
Yeah,
now rather than later,
Of course.
and then regroup.
But before we go talk to him, like, is that what we're?
I don't know.
like-
It's going to be. I feel like that's going to be. It's going to be a hard fight.
It is going to be a hard fight. If we don't do it, what are the repercussions of that? What are the consequences of us not stopping it?
Well, Malik
I
said
mean-
that it's not necessary for us to do. We can. He said we can win this.
He said we can still win without it. It's going to take longer, and there will be more casualties.
What's our clock at? I mean,
For Levistus, or not Levistus, Garion.
Yeah.
You are. Boop, boop. You have
Forgot about that.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days left.
Oh, so we have. a good
After
amount of time.
tonight, it will be 7 days left.
And that's to go back to the material plane with him, and give him access to
No,
the
we go
Shadowfell.
back and then we
Summon him.
use his. Yeah, we summon him.
We summon him in the Shadowfell. Got it.
Yes.
So,
So-
presuming you rest tonight and rest one time after your next mission, you are down to 5 at that point.
And then we'd have to, if we don't do this, we'd have to do one more rest because that
Which
be
would
2
put you down to
missions.
4.
And then we.
And then we still
Wait,
might
that's
have
not
shit
right.
to deal with when we get home too.
We have
Exactly.
8 right now. We rest. That's 7.
Yeah.
We do a
We'll
mission.
rest tonight,
we do
that's
one
7.
more. That's 6. Right.
Yeah.
So
One more is 5.
not 4.
Yeah. And then so we'll have 5 days left when it comes time to face Malagard. If we don't do this tonight, if we do this tonight, we'll have 6 days. I don't know. It seems like ample time either way to me.
Yeah. Same. I don't think we're racing the clock yet.
Not yet.
And saving 1 day, if it's that risky, I'm not sure.
So what are the other options?
We had talked about doing we talked about stealing back the money from Mammon
Hmm.
was one option on the table.
And setting the lieutenants or the fiends against each other, the archdevils.
Mm-hmm.
That I am not. I'm willing to abandon that. I think that's going to take too much time. The other missions, I think, are we get in, we do it, we go out. That seems like
They're
long
more
time
straightforward. Yeah.
Hellfire engines.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Hellfire Engines is fun.
doing.
Yeah. First thing let's check in with Moloch. Let him know how the scouting went, and then
Well, I mean, that's fine. I just told him the next time we talk to him, we'd have talked and come up to a
Yeah,
decision.
we can do that first then.
I don't
That's
know.
fine.
Yeah.
But if we need more info from Moloch about this current predicament, that's fine too.
Yeah, because I think
And
it
we
also.
still need to sleep.
Yeah, I think it also matters what our army can spare, right? And maybe if there's new,
Or-
because ruins here and stuff like that, or what were you gonna say?
Just that if we're able to give Moloch the information that it is, an infernal war machine version of the creature we fought before, and give them information on how we defeated it, and then say good luck, how much better their prospects would be armed with that information versus not.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make it easier for us to let that go and go do something else?
It would certainly. I think it would buy us time if we told them what we know about the infernal engines that Zan spotted and
Yes.
ways that they can disable that, rather than just uselessly flinging themselves against this creature.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Then let's go talk to him now.
Okay.
Every minute we save.
I agree.
All right.
All right.
You make your way back to Moloch's tent, and he's still present, poring over various reports and things like that. And he says, "Oh, you're back. I didn't expect to see you until, much later after you'd had a rest." And Thaddeus, you catch a serious glare from him when you come in.
Yeah, I'll just say, yeah, and we haven't really had a chance to talk, but we did fly out to take a look at this living weapon that you told us about.
No, did you? Well, what's the damage? How bad?
It's pretty bad. They've taken the Prince of Demons that we fought on Stygia, and they've turned him into a war machine.
Are you serious? How did they even manage to do that? That's not, you can't do that, right?
Well,
it's not possible.
I think it was some kind of magic coming from an amulet that Ruin brought back from the Abyss.
Well, does he have the amulet? Because he's working with us, right?
No.
He gave it to Asmodeus at the ball.
Hells.
Yeah.
I looked for it at the battleground to see if whoever was controlling them was nearby, but I didn't catch any sign of it.
At least not within 1,000 feet of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is worse than I thought.
Well, we do have some information and some possible
Countermeasures,
countermeasures. Thank you.
weaknesses.
Well, that'll be helpful because without it, I'm no longer seeing, paths to victory, if what you say is true.
Yeah, that's what we were afraid of.
So I guess with that, I'll tell him about the similarities to the war engines and stuff like that, and how they might be able to be overloaded and backfire, and then also that his given, I guess, perimeter of his defense perimeter that he stays within, or they stay within, and maybe we can use that range to an advantage as well.
Yeah,
And
for
then
now
anything
anyways.
else that we observed.
And it might be worth sending some scouts out to find that amulet too.
Maybe Asmodeus has it.
It's true.
If Ruin gave that thing directly to Asmodeus, I don't think it's anywhere within our reach right now. But
So
we can try. I'll put some Yugoloths on it. As for what you said about the war machine-like parts, that's interesting, but it still requires us to get close. And from what you said, it doesn't seem like much of anyone's getting close. Perhaps alongside you, a task force could, but without powerful creatures to draw its fire, I don't know what the chances are.
The last time we defeated Baphomet back at Tantalin, we had the whole defense at our side.
Not Baphomet, right?
Demogorgon.
Demogorgon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do I keep thinking it's Baphomet?
It's a weird fantasy name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last time we fought Demogorgon, we had a whole army of fiends backing us up, the defenses of the city. We'd need something like that. There's no chance we could do this on our own.
I have a question. Also along those lines, so we know of some infernal war machines. Are there some that excel in artillery?
The ones that you have seen so far are the one. So you saw ones that are kind of motorcycle-like, ones that are kind of dune buggy-like, ones that are more like, I guess, like a big Jeep that have wrecking balls and things on them.
Yeah.
And you've seen the flying sort of airplane-like war machines. Those are the ones you've seen so far.
What about, is the flying knife cutting fortress thing? Is that a Avernus only?
That is, or it
Crash that
was,
into him?
Zariel's fortress, under
Yeah.
control of her exclusively.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily know what has happened to that now that she's gone.
Yeah. So we don't have one that's like a, artillery type thing, because that might help.
Like a Gatling gun.
Yeah.
Moloch's army also doesn't really have that many war machines to speak of.
That's why I'm thinking, if there is that war machine one, maybe we can steal something that we could use in the fight against, or that the Yugolos could use in the fight against Demogorgon to weaken it or something, or
The mission was to disable the war machine or to steal it?
They're
sabotage.
Yeah,
Sabotage.
Yeah.
the Hellfire engines.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, and so I don't know if there's any other types.
I know. I was thinking of
Otherwise-
something that would jam up the armor, so that it couldn't flail its arms. But I don't know how that would work with infernal armor.
Yeah.
Like some sticky substance that one of
Sovereign
Xant's
glue.
creation could
That's
could
the use for
throw
the
out,
sovereign
could
glue.
fling.
Well, look, I'll think about this. You think about what the group of you want to do. I'm not sure how much we can do against this thing, but like I said, if we can hit enough weak points, and before this thing emerged, we were winning.
Well, for what it's worth, it doesn't seem to be straying too far from the perimeter around that cave. So
For now, anyways, but, well, now let's say I draw my troops back. Will it follow? We don't know yet.
that's a great question.
If
I
if we
draw the troops back to here, assuming it will stay in its perimeter and it follows, then our base camp's destroyed.
That's
So-
true.
if we do decide to fight this thing, and I'm not sure that we should, what kind of support can you give us?
Moloch gestures around him and he says, "You've seen the camp. Those that aren't actively involved are few in numbers right now, but I'm sure I can spare a squad or two."
So what about
But as he's saying this to you, Thaddeus, he never stops glaring. Like he's offering support, but he is clearly like projecting anger in your direction.
I'm gonna roll an insight check on that, see what that's about. I'm still exhausted, right?
Yep.
Okay, so this is a straight roll instead of advantage. That's a 14.
Moloch has never liked you that much. His attitude to you has changed, though. He seems hostile now, as opposed to just kind of indifferent dislike. He's cooperating because the group is helping, but his facade of dealing with you has gone away. He's not putting it up anymore at all.
So
Well, let's go and have a rest then,
One-
and we will.
I just want to say one other thing real quick before we do that. Do you think if we took that treasure trove from Mammon, you could hire more help, and that could be the help we need to fight Demogorgon?
Possibly.
Because these Yugolos are already working under whatever the arrangement you had with them, so if we have a treasure trove to hire more and use that group, right?
I might be able to get more, but it'll take them time to get here. That's the main
How much
problem.
time?
Well, how long did it take you to sail down the Styx and get here?
Okay, well, we don't have that much time. So, okay, never mind.
Unfortunately, when you travel down the hells, you travel one by one for the most part, unless you can hop layers using the Styx like we did.
Some of them are able to do that, right?
Yeah, the Yugoloth, the captain who pirated or piloted the Drowning Kiss for a while was a Yugoloth,
Oh, well,
but
then we might actually have time if that's the case. If they can just.
it still took you like days of travel.
Yeah,
Mm,
it
oh,
takes
okay.
a long time.
I thought it was like hours. I didn't think it was days.
No.
It was days? Okay, I didn't remember.
Those days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just did it in like one
It's
episode.
fine.
so I was
You
like,
lost your
"Wow, that was
memory. It's
fast."
fine.
Yeah, I
You
don't
lost your
remember.
memory of everything that
You
happened.
don't say. This is the first time
since
I've
we
heard
came
these things.
to-
Okay.
All right,
That's all I had.
let's go sleep and we'll talk and we'll see you in a few hours, Malik.
Right. Sounds fine, boss. See you later. I'm gonna stay here and pore over these strategies for a little bit more. Maybe I
Make
can
sure
come
you
up with
get some
something.
rest too, though.
He kind of just waves his hand dismissively at you.
Okay, before we leave though, would Moloch have information on that, the tunnel system? Is that something he would know at all?
Oh,
Like if
yeah.
there's another,
If you tell him about that, he says, "Well, I've been thinking probably Malagard's lair is about here," and he marks the location of the tunnel system on the map. It's pretty central to the plane. There's no structures on the surface as far as I'm aware. So if there's a tunnel system there, then I suppose that's where she is.
okay. It's not mapped out where something would come out in a different location.
Not that I know of.
Okay,
This place is drastically different from when I was ruler of this place.
And
we
it
think-
seems fairly malleable too.
Do we think Demogorgon could fit in that cave?
No,
No.
there's no way.
So we could
Okay.
just slip through his legs, you're thinking.
well, I was just thinking of sneak attack.
Yeah.
Sneak, somehow getting
Back
close without him.
entrance.
Yeah.
Ew, don't say it.
That's not what I meant at all.
There's gotta be one here somewhere.
Yeah? That would explain the smell.
One of many.
There's a set of like 2 hills off in the very far distance. You know,
It's
What
not
do you
all
call
Let's
between
never
them.
go there.
just like a valley in between. Foul vapors are said to vent from crevices within.
The Twin Peaks.
I just grossed myself out. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so the group of you head back to the Temple of Cold Justice, and
Thaddeus is gonna stay behind for a moment.
I'm not leaving Moloch alone with you. I'm not leaving you alone with Moloch. So if you stay behind, I stop and I wait for you.
I just want to see, like, Malik, is there a problem? Are we gonna have trouble working together on this?
he looks up at you, looks at Harmony, and then looks back to you, the glare not softening in his eyes, and he says, "Until our mission is complete, we're fine."
Good. And I'll leave.
I'll follow.
Okay.
But I'll give another look at Moloch.
He's already looked away, like turned his back to you.
Something is going on with him. I say to Harmony as we leave.
Yeah, I know.
And that's where we'll end tonight's episode.
All right.
So we'll pick up next week with more of this. You guys can talk then about what you end up deciding you want to do. And also potentially if you have any other conversations you want to have about Rotten Rowan or anything like that. I think you guys have a lot of things you'll want to talk about at the start of next episode. So we'll pick up there next time. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you guys for playing. I think that was a fun and good episode.
Yeah.
So
It was quite fun.
we'll be back
Yeah.
with more next time.
It was
Bye.
intense.